Good morning, my friends. Welcome to today's discussion. Today we're going to be shooting at the innocence and mistakes narrative and or reclaiming our innocence from mistakes and understanding how mistakes aren't actually something that we need to feel shame, guilt, fear of. Mistakes generally are actually pretty positive. They're a very important part of our growth and our development as a human being. So, before we get that started, I need to jump out here to the Facebook and share this with the community. The community is your safe haven here on the internet, where you can find guidance and support, you can find understanding, and you can find the challenge of building healthier communication skills, connecting more with people, and getting insight into your own journey, getting access to tools and trainings from me. So the group is called the Thriving Beyond Codependency Community, and the link is above on Facebook, below on YouTube. And if you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. Guys, let me know. Share your thoughts and feelings in the comments below as we do this. So I'm interested to see what you're thinking and what you're feeling, what's going on for you. Because I know last couple of days have been fairly intense. And so, yeah, we're going to run with it. And if there's broadcast interruptions, because lately there have been, I'll be posting the full version of the video in the comments below. Okay. So, my friends, today, innocence and mistakes. This is the magic here, because in codependency, mistakes have been vilified. They have been turned into a weapon to try to control us. Typically, what happens with mistakes is the other person makes it bigger than what they are and then tends to catalog those mistakes and use them against us. They like to use them against who we are. They like to use them against... I've got to fix this real quick. There we go. That might fix a few things. They like to use these mistakes as weapons against us. So they take something that we've done and they then remember it and bring it up in future arguments or in future complaints. They don't actually let go of the mistake. They don't let closure happen around it. This happens with parents to children. This happens with peer-to-peer relationships. And sometimes this happens with children to parents. The difference here is with a child-to-parent dynamic, it's because the parent typically is acknowledging the impact on the child in a way that the child can hear it. So, because you gotta remember in parent dynamics, the parent has the power, the child doesn't. They have a dependency on the parent, and so that can complicate mistakes. Now, in toxic relationships, like with narcissistic people who have the tendency to have grandiose thinking, the people who tend to have a prolific habit of playing the victim, they lack accountability, they lack the expression of empathy, they believe that they are special, that they should have different or preferential treatment. You're dealing with someone with narcissistic tendencies at that point. These types of brains will take mistakes and magnify them. They'll warp them in a way that makes them greater than what they are. One of my big experiences with this is that when I'd make a mistake, the other person would act as though their world was destroyed by this mistake. Like the mistake was so utterly bad and wrong and incomprehensible to them that their trust in me was shattered, that I am a terrible person, how could I do this to them, why didn't I think of them. All this kind of rhetoric would come around it, and this turned mistakes into a nuclear bomb for me. They would use it to crater my sense of self-esteem. They would attack my character and my identity and my value. And if I didn't relent, they would escalate into more and more attacks. So I'd have to relent or they'd keep doing that. Mostly because of the power dynamic that existed at the time, because it's one of my parents. I'm not going to be able to escape that. And so I internalize this experience of mistakes as being something intrinsically wrong with me. That there is some sort of, at this point in time in my life, evil that motivated mistakes. Now, I'm not talking mistakes like harming someone. I'm talking normal growth mistakes that children make. But I was supposed to know better, and I was supposed to be aware of how it would affect them, and I was supposed to be concerned about their feelings. This is a term called parentification, when a parent puts on a child adult responsibilities that regulate the parent is being emotionally incestuous with you and is trying to control that. I know it's a very strong term, but that's exactly what's going on. This turns mistakes into a way of manipulating the other person. This is how they manipulate people through their mistakes. There isn't actual forgiveness. I remember one of the mistakes, and this is the other thing with abusive dynamics, there are some genuine mistakes, like, oh, I didn't clean the bathroom in the right order or something. Then there's the non-mistakes that are turned into mistakes. Like, one of them was grieving my mother. I expressed grief about my mother, and I would be punished for it. So I thought that that was a mistake to do. That's what abuse is. This is how it shows up. This is how it impacts us. So I internalized mistakes as something wrong with me that I had to eliminate, because apparently I'm harming other people through these mistakes that I was making. As I got out of that dynamic and got deeper into healing, I had to come to terms with mistakes, and I had to come to terms with how people responded to the mistakes I made. One of those dynamics was healing the shame behind mistake making. Mistakes had to become safe again. They had to become reasonable again. They had to become available again, because that's how we learn. We cannot learn without making mistakes. We have to discover it. We aren't intrinsic knowers. We are intrinsic doers. We discover, we explore, we try. And when mistakes have been turned into a weapon against us, then our ability to discover and our ability to refine and become experts and increase our capability has been highly, highly limited. It's been impacted, it's been shamed. We shut down into our survival mode. We don't grow in the way we need to grow in order to have access to our own happiness. So this is why I focus on mistakes in the Reclaiming Yourself Innocence course, because mistakes generally are from innocence. We're just trying to figure something out. We're just trying to do something. And when we release the shame from mistake making and we connect it back to innocence, then we can discover and we can engage our creativity and our inborn nature of being an explorer. That is where life re-engages us. This is where we leap beyond codependency. We leap beyond the pain of our past, because now we're really engaged with something that's intrinsic to us. It's inherent in our nature to explore and understand, and that allows us to succeed. That allows us to break through these barriers that we've been trapped with for so long. It allows us to see beyond the horizon a little bit and dream a little bigger for our world. So mistakes, when coupled with innocence, lead to discovery and growth. Now, there's always the accountability piece in this, and we'll talk about that in our next discussion. But fundamentally, mistake making is an innocence act. It's like, well, yeah, I'm learning. It's an innocent thing to learn. There's nothing wrong with us. There's nothing bad going on there. So we can release our shame and our internalized guilt for mistake making, and we can reconnect with our innocence and our value and discover again the magic of mistake making and how safe it can actually be. So that is today's training. I invite you to explore making mistakes from a place of innocence. I also invite you to join us for the Reclaiming Yourself Innocence course. It starts on the 18th. The link is above for enrollment and on Facebook and below on YouTube. If you're on YouTube, hit that subscribe button. And it also gets you enrolled for the upcoming Heal Yourself strategy, which is my core system in healing codependency. It helps you restore sanity, safety, and connection in your world. It helps you start the process of coming back to you. It helps you build in back to you and your goodness. It helps you basically reclaim yourself from codependency. So that's built in. If you've got questions about that, don't hesitate to reach out either on a comment below. You can contact me at answers.freetheself.com. That link is above Facebook as well and below on YouTube. We start the 18th. I invite you to join us here and to reclaim your innocence and then reclaim yourself from codependency through the Heal Yourself strategy. Appreciate you guys. Remember that you're worth knowing, loving, and keeping. And I will see you guys in our next discussion. Bye-bye.